should I just keep doing this?
You literally jump scared me on the last episode. I was talking, and then you just started playing that. Welcome to the Rob Sand podcast.
Welcome to
for
Rob
all of
Sand
your
Caucus.
Rob Sand news and opinion.
Yeah, that's right. This is all you need to know about Rob Sand. You'll be hearing on this podcast. Rob Sand podcast. Rob Sand Caucus. It's close enough. I don't know. It kind of works. Yes. All right. This is Rock Hard Caucus episode 199. The penultimate episode.
I'm actually kind of surprised that he doesn't have his own podcast.
Actually, you know what? Somebody mentioned to me that he did.
Oh, okay.
It's called Tracking the Bucks. I haven't had time to look into it.
Oh my god. I was going to say feel the sand.
Yeah, Tracking Your Bucks. Tales of Public Corruption with Rob Sand. Have not forced myself to listen to that yet. But obviously, we'll be doing that sometime over the next year and a half. Unfortunately, we're going to have to dig into that one. You
have a copy of his book as well.
Yeah. We will be covering that eventually.
Are we? Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know if we talked about doing that, but yeah, I don't know.
I got to finish...
find out about that lottery fraud.
I started reading Hardwired by Joseph Dobrin.
Yeah, so I want to read... I'm going to hit that much first. More interesting to me. I'm excited for that. We read we were at your house and we read the first page and the last page. Yeah. And I'm pretty interested in what happens in between. Because, it's pretty good preview.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's got a great opening sentence for people. So, once we get to the next Dobrain Book Club series, you'll be enjoying that. Listeners, you'll love the first sentence of the book, Hardwired. All right. 199, Rock Hard Caucus. Here we are. It is Monday. I'm sorry that we're late, but it is a holiday weekend. You know, we try to hit Sundays for our episode releases, but we've been busy. Well, I was busy. I was out of town. Were you busy?
Not particularly. Not doing anything important.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, we went out of town for a couple of days, so didn't have time to do a podcast until today on Memorial Day. It's sort of like breaking the Sabbath, I think, to record a podcast on a holiday like this.
Yeah, perhaps.
I'm also having computer problems, so that's been slowing down my podcast production.
I kind of did too. It wasn't recognizing my mic for some reason. I had to unplug it and replug it in 5 times.
One of my old hard drives is going to shit, and I got a replacement, but I got to clone it and all that shit before I...
Oh, yeah.
It's going to take a little bit of time. Anyway, we have something new, something we've never done on the podcast before, and it's going to feel maybe a little out of place, but we're going to be doing a ticket giveaway for an event. I didn't really clear this with Evan that much, but
oh yeah, I was gonna say I saw it on the thing. I was like, I don't know, we should probably talk about it beforehand. It won't be out of the blue if you listen to Justin on Guys Plus.
That's true. It's true.
Yeah, and also you've done some other related content on the podcast that I wasn't involved in.
Brian and I talked about the unaired pilot for the Clerks TV pilot a couple years ago. That's an episode on our Patreon. But here's what's happening. Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, who you probably know as Jay and Silent Bob from the movies, they're going to be doing a comedy show at the Angler Theater in Iowa City on Friday, June 20th. So less than a month from now. Friday, June 20th at the Angler Theater in Iowa City. Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes. So I work at the Angler, so I'm friends with people in marketing and programming, and we kind of just thought it would be funny for 2 tickets to the Oral Sex Tour to be given away on Rock Hard Caucus. It's kind of funny, right?
Yeah.
I don't totally understand the name of their tour, though.
Me neither. That's it. Kind of. I get what they're going for, but I don't know what the sects part, SECTS.
Yeah, it's oral like audio, AURAL, and sects, SECTS, oral sex tour. I think it's a joke about oral sex, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I get the oral part.
Yeah, but I don't get the second part. Yeah,
I don't know how sects applies, but hey, maybe you learn during the course of the show what the name of the tour means. Maybe it's part of the routine.
Is it a reference to Christian sects? Like,
maybe,
I don't know.
Maybe it's because
is it like dogma? Is it like Catholic versus Protestant stuff going on or something?
Yeah, he just got the rights to dogma back, so maybe that has something to do with it. Harvey Weinstein. Is it Weinstein or Weinstein?
I think it's Weinstein. That's a name that I didn't expect to come up today.
He was clinging to the rights to dogma for years and years.
Oh, okay. Well, then good. Yeah.
Anyway, they're doing a show at the Angler, and we have 2 tickets to give away to one person. So we're only going to give one person. There's going to be one winner who gets 2 tickets. So I hope you have a friend or a partner or something to bring. No solo, no single guys at the Kevin Smith show.
Oh man, I could just imagine some poor girlfriend or wife being sucked into going to the
the oral sex show.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Pretty good.
There you go. I'm gonna say I think skews a little male heavy audience probably.
Yeah, probably. So I'm not sure exactly how to do this. I was thinking maybe you could, if you are interested in these tickets, you could email us or call us, rockhardcaucus@gmail.com, 319-849-8733, and maybe just tell us what your favorite Kevin Smith movie is and tell us why you like it. Or if you hate Kevin Smith, that would be funny too. If you hate him but you want to go to the show, tell us why you would want to go. That'd be funny.
Yeah. Funniest story.
Least favorite movie.
Funniest Kevin Smith anecdote or story.
Yeah, we'll leave it pretty open-ended. You can maybe even just read that really nasty tweet he did years ago about his wife's taint.
Yeah, about poning. Yeah, I don't remember all the details. Doesn't really need. Isn't necessary to go over it.
Yeah, but call us, email us, tell us you want the tickets, and we'll just pick a random one. I'll do a random number generator with all the entries, and we'll figure it out. But yeah, do that soon because the show is not that far away. June 20th.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll give you a week.
Like a week? Yeah, I was going to say a week probably makes sense.
Let's say we'll pick the winner on maybe just our next episode, June 1st or so.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Get
Done
it in
deal.
this week. All right, moving on. We got to get back to the important, relevant topics. Rob was on MSNBC a couple days ago talking to Jen Psaki. Is that right?
I think so.
I think it's
the
Jen
P is definitely not
Psaki.
silent. Yeah.
Formerly Joe Biden's press secretary, right? And then she got this show on MSNBC. She was really good at lying for the president.
Yeah, that's really not a good precedent of just working for a political administration, then immediately transitioning to political media. Not great.
Yeah. I mean, you shouldn't really hold the press secretary or any hosts of television news programs in high regard. Probably they're all the same. Coming from the same circle of people.
I guess it's slightly better than being a lobbyist, but also kind of the same thing in some aspects.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell the difference, I guess. Anyway, Rob was on MSNBC. This is a big moment for the campaign, of course, getting national attention. You're going to attract a lot of those very pliable MSNBC watchers who just like to throw their money at races all over the country, losing races like the people who run against Mitch McConnell and stuff. They just pile a bunch of out-of-state money on top of them. It's kind of the same situation here, right? But yeah, big moment for him. National TV, Jen Psaki. Let's hear what he had to say.
According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, more than 86,000 Iowans would lose Medicaid coverage and 56,000 Iowans would lose health insurance in the current version of the Big Beautiful Bill, as it's being called. Yet every member of
Big Beautiful Bill. Maybe we shouldn't call it that.
That's fucking foul.
Yeah. I mean, the messaging here, the Big Beautiful Bill. whose only purpose is to just like cut spending for anybody who maybe would benefit from government spending. That's the purpose of the big, beautiful bill, right? It's a big tax cut for the wealthy. Maybe I think that an intelligent person, when they hear the phrase "big, beautiful bill," they're probably repulsed, right?
Yeah, I would hope. I mean, it's also like it's just an omnibus bill. It's like one of those just bills that's just like a bunch of different bullshit in the same package. But I guess I don't know.
Which includes, I believe we talked about this as a state thing before, but it includes a ban on trans healthcare being covered by Medicaid, right? That got like snuck into this big, beautiful bill. I guess this is what the president wants it to be called, though, right? The big, beautiful bill.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's directly from Trump. I mean,
it sounds like it.
It definitely does sound like a big, beautiful. Oh my fucking God.
So by parroting, not parodying, but parroting, his term for it, I feel like you're sort of helping him in the messaging.
Right.
Even though it sounds stupid to someone like me. I don't think we're in the majority again of the country.
No, I don't think we are.
Maybe come up with a different thing to call it, like a
big piece of shit. Big piece of shit.
Yeah, call it that. The big piece of shit bill.
Iowa's congressional delegation voted for the bill. How are Iowans responding? I know this has been only a couple of days, but you're out there talking to people.
Yeah. I think people are incredibly frustrated. I think this is one of the tremendous problems of our time, honestly, whether it's in Iowa or elsewhere. It's the question of whether or not you're doing public service or you're doing politics.
Straight back to the
I thought he was going to spit off about like neoliberalism and like the hollowing of public services to, shuffle them into private, the private sector. But no, it's some weird political theater shit.
That
what we expect from Rob.
That is one of the defining problems of our time, I think, is pushing all these public goods into private interests. I think you're right, Evan. That would be probably a more relevant thing to discuss.
That's what I would like to. That's what I would have liked to have heard.
Yeah, but this is a different dichotomy: public service versus politics. Kind of hard to define, right? Like, aren't you doing politics by like appearing on the show and discussing these big national issues? Isn't that like a form of politics? Isn't that kind of necessary to your entire project, like doing some politics?
Yeah. It is, but I don't think liberals really like doing politics anymore because that's like hard. Like you have to like advocate for things. Like some people might disagree with you. It's like easier to just be like, both sides are bad. People don't
good.
and good, but no, it's politics versus public service. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Let's see if he gets into any of those like potentially disagreeable opinions, like advocating for anything in particular here.
And if you're focused on public service, the way I like to put it is you're thinking more about how to make a place not redder or bluer, but better and truer. It's not a question of which party's in control.
Wow. I never thought of it like that before. Makes total sense.
Well, I thought about it like that once before, like last week, but never prior to that, because he has said this many times in the past couple weeks. This is like his slogan. This sucks.
It's so bad.
Not redder or bluer, but better and truer.
Totally,
it sucks
man.
So bad, and he likes it. He's so proud of it that he made a T-shirt of it that you can buy on his website for $31. Yeah. It's a ray gun custom.
And he will resort to that instead of answering a question directly. Like he just immediately goes into campaign slogan mode.
Yeah. He's got aspirations, right? Like this is like this is not politics, according to him. Is this like it's not really dodging the question. It's just like falling back on a stump speech. He's ready for the big time, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's got his nice little puffer vest right now. He was also opening, it was like a different Rob Sand than I'm used to seeing, where he's like got a real, he was like kind of scowling in the beginning. He was like,
oh yeah,
this is, I'm on national TV. I gotta be serious. And then
he's really mad about the big, beautiful bill.
And then he drops the better and truer shit.
I do want to talk a little bit about that T-shirt though. It's got a cartoon image of a man with a microphone I think he's holding a finger up. I don't have the image in front of me, but it doesn't really look like Rob. I don't think. I'll probably make that the episode art for this week's episode so people can take a look at it. Doesn't look like Rob. It looks more like I can't remember his name, but one of the guys from Revenge of the Nerds. The nerdier looking one. Kind of looks like that guy. And I'm curious, like I asked on Blue Sky, I said, hey, who's the artist behind this? Who drew this nice picture of a man talking into a microphone for your campaign, Rob? Haven't heard back.
Mm-hmm.
I have suspicions that there was not an artist directly involved.
Yeah. I ran it through a couple AI image detectors. Appears to be generated through a Stable Diffusion model. And it's like, I don't know. That's like, it's fucked up. Like, you could have easily found a local artist and paid them like a small sum of your vast fortune to, and then like be like, oh, hey, like this is also, like that could be like a point in your favor. But then like, even regardless of that, the actual shirt is fucking garbage. It has redder and bluer, better and truer slogan on it. And then it has like the Rob Sand like logo, like super tiny. So like, it's like one of those shirts where you'd have to like, well, I guess maybe that's the point. You have to engage into a conversation with someone to actually understand what the fuck, like for them to understand what the shirt means. Like
the shirt is bait. Yeah.
It's bad. It's real bad.
The logo, you mean like the one where it's got like the shaking hands and the picture of the state that's like ripped apart? Yeah. I was thinking if it was like really tiny. Logo. Right. Yeah. I was also thinking if you squint and it's really small, it's like starting to get kind of close to a swastika.
Kind of, man.
You got to be careful printing that logo really small. But yeah, it seems to be an AI t-shirt. So that's a great way to start the campaign, is to use a computer to rip off, thousands of deviant artists with your little cartoon man that doesn't even look like you. All right, more from MSNBC.
It's not a question of what your party boss wants you to do. It's what's actually good for your constituents. And I'll point out, I do 100 town halls every year. Most of Iowa's congressional delegation hasn't been doing any of them in person. I go even to conservative groups. I went and spoke to a conservative group in Northwest Iowa.
I would venture to guess that you speak to more conservative groups than any other types of groups, actually.
It sure seems like it. That's like what he wants you to think. I mean,
it's your main target demographic, it seems. These are the people you want to reach out to the most.
Sure seems like it.
A little more than a month ago. Again, robsand.com if you want to learn more about my background. But these are folks who want to talk to their representatives in their democracy. And yet some of the folks that represent them in Congress won't even come and meet with them. And then they go and turn around and take votes like this, which, Jen, 700,000 Iowans are on this program. And honestly, my faith is a tremendous motivator of most of what I do.
Where did that come from?
It's so funny. He finally gets around to answering the question or addressing it, and has to frame it as, again, a faith thing. Like, I wonder who that is supposed to appeal to.
Yeah. He's trying to replace Phil Robertson in the hearts of America's conservative groups. He's the new Duck Dynasty is happening here in Iowa.
I can't imagine looking at the amount of people out there that are struggling to get by and deciding to cut support for struggling people in order to sort of pay for tax cuts for the wealthiest. It makes no sense to me, not if you're looking at it in terms of public service.
Well, it makes sense to me in that they our Senate or our House of Representatives, I guess the Senate hasn't voted on it yet, but who are the people in there? They're well, and I think, Rob, you understand this very well. You're feigning ignorance here, but rich people have certain class interests, and paying into a system that covers healthcare for the poorest people in the country is not part of their class interest. And if you cut that so that they are able to hoard more of their wealth, I think that they like that. They would like that to happen. Right?
Yeah.
It's really not that confusing.
Yeah. They also like to have an underclass that serves them.
With a gun to their head, basically, metaphorically, at least at this point in history.
Yeah, get to work. I think that's what's most irritating about Rob, though, to me, is like the feigned ignorance thing. Like,
sure,
he knows, like, he thinks you're stupid and wants to talk down to you. Like, he wants to pretend that he's like stupid like you are. You know, when he like clearly is not. Like,
no,
he's not a stupid guy.
Me.
He's a smart. Yeah, he's probably. I mean, he's got the credentials to prove it. Like,
he went to a really nice school. Yeah,
which is fine. You should lean into that instead of being like
advertise your elitism.
Yeah,
stop lying to us.
we need a technocrat to lead, man. I mean, that's what you're going to do. Like, that's what you're going to be doing when you're in office anyway. Like, you're going to be. That's the mold. I mean, like Obama.
Yeah. Well, I do wonder if he has an interest in sort of deflecting away from the sort of class discussion. Like, well, yeah, obviously rich people want this to happen because then they can hoard more of their wealth and keep a miserable underclass to do all the shitty jobs. Is there a reason he might want to point your attention away from that very obvious explanation of what's going on?
We might have talked about that on the last episode.
That's a pretty good summary of it. Sounds like you're going to be visiting all those 99 counties as you're running for governor. I hope you'll come back and talk to us more about it. Rob Sand, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, they seem to get along really well. So hopefully we'll get more MSNBC spots from Rob over the next few months. Good for him, getting a little bit of national attention. Let's throw this in here. I got a little tip. I got tipped off about this. A news piece from about a week ago in the Quad City Times by Sarah Watson. We haven't talked about this in a while, but it was a recurring subject for a bit. A couple years ago, the Davenport building collapse. You all remember the big building that fell down because the landlord did not take care of his ancient building. And
big, beautiful building.
Yeah. Formerly a big, beautiful building, now a pile of rubble. I haven't actually been to that neighborhood in a bit. I'm not sure if they've started building anything else on that spot or if it's just a big hole in the ground still. But yeah, Sarah Watson, May 19th, Quad City Times. Building collapse police report still not public as Iowa Public Information Board declines to rule. So this has been an ongoing issue here that the county attorney declined to press any criminal charges against Andrew Wold, whose neglect was the, I would say, primary factor, other than the endless march of time being a big contributing factor to the building collapse. The guy who owned it, not taking care of it, was probably number two in terms of why it collapsed. No criminal charges against him, but they won't release any of the, reports about the investigation into what led to this. All right. Iowa Public Information Board declined to rule whether the criminal investigative report into the downtown Davenport building collapse is a public record. In essence, board members said the request came in the wrong format, but left the door open for records requesters to file a complaint for the board to take up or take the issue to court. So what's, just in that very brief summary of what happened, what's their job exactly? Like, what are they, why do they exist? Like, the Iowa Public Information Board, when presented with this complaint, chose not to make a decision at all about whether this investigation into what I would consider an event of public interest, whether that was a public record or not.
This was years ago.
Yeah, 2023, right? I think it was two summers ago.
Yeah. And we talked about it on the podcast at the time, like, because I mean, there's going to be some real shit in that report. Like, it's like, I mean, we know about the fact that like people had been bringing this to his attention for weeks and months before it happened.
What we were able to see at the time, it looked like the city was kind of turning their head the other way over and over, despite pretty egregious violations of structural rules.
Yeah, they were like actively working on it, I think, when it collapsed.
Yeah, there were some shitty
They're trying to shore
boards.
up the the worst bracing job I've ever seen.
Yeah. All right. In April, the Scott County Attorney's Office submitted a request asking for declaratory judgment to the Iowa Public Information Board, which helps resolve public records disputes on whether a report by the Division of Criminal Investigation on the collapse should be made public. So we got like 3 different organizations, all basically saying like, what's the rationale for us not to let people see this?
Yeah,
I think
for real.
I think is what's going on with these three boards and government offices and stuff. So part of the rationale is that this was a Division of Criminal Investigation, and that is a state organization. The public was trying to get the county attorney, or like a couple members of the public, were trying to get the county attorney to release the document with a public records request. Mm-hmm. And so the information board, was saying, well, this is a county office who does not have the authority to release a state report or something. Mm-hmm. and part of the reason that this has become like a controversial issue is that the county attorney, Kelly Cunningham, chose not to bring any criminal charges against the building owner. And I will say, again, this is part of the story. 3 men died, 1 woman's leg was amputated, and dozens of people lost their homes when this building collapsed due to this one man's neglect. He was all he wanted was their rent money. He didn't care how long they lived or, how long they were able to live in this borderline uninhabitable space that then became definitely uninhabitable.
I would say uninhabitable.
Well, they were habitating it.
They
for
were
a while
habitating it
until it collapsed. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's fairly clear that they probably shouldn't have been in there at the time.
I don't think it was safe.
I think it was a great idea, obviously.
And I would theorize that a man collecting fees from people month after month while knowingly allowing the building to fall apart on top of these people seems like a criminal act to me.
Yeah.
Seems like you're taking advantage of people who are in need of a space to live in and keep their stuff. And you're just kind of allowing them to live in a precarious situation that may and did kill several of them eventually. That seems criminal to me.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, the punishment did not fit the alleged crime.
Alleged
what,
punishment?
He got
I don't even know.
He got like a fine? Yeah, no, he got a fine. All right. It was a fucking, I can't remember how much it was, but probably a fraction of the amount of rent checks that he's cashed.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. His name doesn't really come up much in this article, actually, but, yeah. So if there's a document that led the county attorney to conclude that there's no basis for a criminal charge, I think that is probably in the public interest to know, like, oh wow,
yeah. On what basis did they make that decision that impacted multiple people's lives in very horrific ways? Like,
right, yeah. And I mean, it wasn't just the people who lived in the building. When I went down there, they've got like a whole big section of downtown blocked off with big fences, police all over the place, not letting you go in the area. Yeah, it was disruptive to Davenport life for a time for a lot of people. Here, this is how the piece ends. The quote from board member Luke Martz, public representative, told viewers that the board's decision still left the door open for a complaint to come before the board or for individuals to pursue litigation. If you don't get the full record as you expected or you believe you're entitled to from your open records request, you're welcome to file a complaint to IPIB, that would be Iowa Public Information Board, and this will be back here in no time, depending on staff review and everything else. So that's the problem solved, If you just ask again, you'll be here again, and then we will tell you did it wrong again.
Yeah, it'll be no time at all.
Yeah. Martz earlier in the meeting expressed an openness to considering the report a public record. I'm not convinced that this isn't a public record, the full report, Martz said. I want to withhold on whether I think it is, but I think it seems to me that DPS is the right custodian based on the motions and the paperwork I've reviewed. Right. So it's the onus is on, individual members of the public to know the exact route to take. You have to send this request to this department and this request to another department. And if you do it wrong, you got to start all over from the beginning. Right? And it's not our fault. We're not trying to hide this information from you. You just have to follow the correct procedure. And you won't know that you followed the correct procedure until you happen to have done it correctly. We won't tell you how to do it. We can offer suggestions for alternatives, but eventually you might guess right. So keep at it, buddy.
Basically like an old school point and click adventure game where you have to read a fucking walkthrough guide or a manual to understand what you need to do.
Right. You need to hand the object over to the correct NPC in the correct order. And then you will open up the next dialogue tree. And then so yeah, I do want to, wish best wishes to all of the individuals pursuing the Kafka-esque scenario. They're trying to navigate the multiple levels of bureaucracy that don't want you to have this information and are trying to trap you in like an endless labyrinth of forms and whatever. Eventually, the truth should come to light, because I feel like the people in charge of the Davenport government and the Scott County offices I think they have an interest in hiding what's in those documents, and I think the public would benefit from knowing what kind of shit they've been up to behind closed doors. Yeah,
they've had some problems with transparency in the past. I think that's we talked about like there's some kind of weird sex scandal on the Davenport City Council that was getting covered up. I think Rob Sanders also referred to that like obliquely.
Oh, is that what he was talking about? Yeah,
I kind of that's what I kind of thought. I don't know.
Yeah,
but there's something else ongoing
with the city council there that I have not actually dug into recently, but I saw some headlines about it, that there were settlements made, and they are also declining from releasing information about those settlements.
They might have settled.
and somebody, like, the blame is being placed on like one person who authorized the settlements, maybe without proper authorization from everyone else. Again, something I have not really looked into to grasp the situation, but yeah, just more like weird, corrupt nonsense from a Quad Cities governmental organization. Let's watch a little bit of another video. KCCI, one of our favorite TV news sources, interviewed our governor, Kim Reynolds. She's on her way out the door, but she's still got some stuff to talk about. This is like a half-hour interview. I don't really want to watch the whole thing, but let's see what's important here. I'm going to skip to this part about work requirements for Medicaid, which was a big accomplishment of her administration, is implementing work requirements for Medicaid. Before we listen to what she has to say about that, Evan, do you have any opinions on work requirements for receiving Medicaid benefits?
I think that it's fucking absurd. I think, single payer healthcare. Medicaid for all.
Yeah. You don't think that people should have
I think private insurance companies should go out of business, and those employees should lose their jobs.
And they should go straight to hell.
Perhaps, at the upper end of the company, yes. They should go straight to hell. I'm not going to say about everyone. But they can find other jobs, too. It's fine. I think the benefits of, like, hey, if you have, a single payer healthcare system, you lose your job, you still have health insurance. You can still like survive, a little bit better.
Sure. Yeah. Whereas the current state of things, the insurance executives could just decide on a whim. I mean, in most states, right to work and whatever, they could just throw their lower level employees out on the streets, and then they lose their benefits. I think that those workers would, despite maybe losing their awful insurance sort of like phone customer service job, if we did have a single payer healthcare system, at least they wouldn't lose their health coverage, right?
Well, wait,
I think they can still
get health coverage through Cobra, which is a fucking amazing program that like a lot of people love paying for, the exorbitant fucking premiums.
Yeah, that's really crazy. I can't believe that like exists in the state that it does. A family member of mine like suddenly lost their job within the last few months, and they had to get on Cobra for a time, and it's like you're paying more. Like,
yeah,
you lose your job, your income, and then in order to keep your health insurance, you have to pay more than you were for it. When you have, like, the reason you're on Cobra is because you suddenly have less money to work with. Like,
I know, it's fucking ridiculous. You'd think that, like, it would cover the same amount that, like, the employee covered, you know, like that would subsidize the, you know, part of the cost. But yeah, again, just fucking, it's cheaper for everybody. Medicare for all. Fucking pay the providers directly. One payer, just the government. That's good. Yeah. It's good. Other countries have tried it, and they're doing pretty good at it.
Yeah, and I, so you know, I don't go to the doctor very often. We've talked about this recently, but I went to the doctor like a couple months ago, and it's just like baffling to me as somebody who doesn't go on a regular basis. Like, I get a bill in the mail that's for like hundreds of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And then I look at their website, like the app thing that they told me to go to, and it says I don't owe any money. And then I have this other thing that says I owe $15. And this is all, like, why do I need to see all of this? And how do I know what I'm supposed to pay?
Yeah.
Why can't you just, my job isn't like reading these bills and understanding what goes to insurance and what doesn't. So why do I have to receive this? This is just confusing to me and discourages me from going to the doctor again in the future. So I'm going to die young, everybody.
But not before the 200th episode. All right.
Yeah, we'll get that out at least.
Yeah. And then if you die, you know, you'll live on through the podcast. So there's a silver lining there.
It is in my will to make sure that these files remain on the internet.
Yeah, the secret podcast that it's like a poison pill podcast with Justin's true thoughts, not the fake stuff that he's been saying on the podcast version. For years. Yeah.
I got a dead man switch on the real shit.
Feeling confident to expand and grow as well.
You mentioned the Trump Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. The U.S. House just passed the spending bill. Part of that.
That's the big, beautiful bill.
That adds work requirements to Medicaid. You have asked the Trump administration for permission to add work requirements for able-bodied adults on Iowa's Medicaid expansion. If that is approved, how will you ensure that eligible Iowans don't lose their health care?
This is a really good question, right? Because when you impose restrictions like this, and it's like a sudden sort of change to how the system works, like it's going to fuck up people's, you know, benefits. Like there's going to be like false positives, and like you're going to have to look into whether somebody like really, quote, deserves the benefits. And anytime you add a wrinkle into it, like people are going to get fucked over when they're not, quote, supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like it's not a very efficient way of doing things.
Right. Yeah.
First of all, there are exceptions to it, and those are pretty expansive on people that wouldn't apply to. But basically, if you are an able-bodied adult, that you should be working. But we want to help them either get the skills to get a good job. That includes getting an education. That's a component of it. But
So part of imposing these work requirements on Medicaid involves what, free tuition?
Yeah,
are we giving free college to these people? Is that?
Wow. That's amazing. I mean, if that's true, then that's great. I don't think that's true, though.
No, I don't think that's what she means.
Bottom line is, we're way out of scope for what Medicaid was developed for.
I'm sorry. I'm not letting her continue with her thoughts there, but we're way out of scope with what Medicaid was. Did you say intended for? What it was made for?
Mm-hmm.
No, obviously no citation here in this interview, but where does that idea come from? What was the intention of Medicaid?
I think it was to provide healthcare to low income people.
Right, people who can't afford it any other way. And there's a lot of poor people. And I think with the cost of health care and health insurance increasing dramatically since Medicaid was first created, I think that there's probably more and more people that end up needing something like that, right? And so Yeah, it's not really out of the scope of its intention, I don't think. I think it's just that you don't want it to do... You disagree with the fundamental idea.
You disagree with the... the premise of the program.
And we need to make sure that if we have able-bodied adults that can work, they are, so that we really can have the resources that we need to take care of the people that really need it.
Tell me a little bit more of that.
Take care of the people who really need health care, which is...
everyone on Earth.
Every person, right? So maybe there's an easier way to handle this. If you just understand that every person who lives should have the ability to talk to a doctor and like get, medication and health care. Everyone needs it.
Yeah, you never know. You never know when you will need it at some point in the future. Our bodies are fragile. They're designed to destroy themselves at some point in the future.
It's true, yeah. Well, not except for people like me, but yeah.
Yeah. True. You don't need the dead man switch because you're actually going to live forever, not die.
I'm never going to die, yeah.
About the people who may have difficulty navigating the reporting process, or people who may be under an exemption, but then they don't know that they're exempt. How do you make sure those people don't accidentally get kicked off?
Yeah.
Ooh, wow.
Good one.
I mean, the fact that this is even a possibility seems like maybe we should not be going down this path at all. Adding burdensome fucking reporting, like you probably have to go through a shitty website. Like every government website,
yeah. It's going to be
like
shitty.
Shit.
Oh, it's going to be shitty.
Especially if it's for something like Medicaid, like where only like the most in need people are going to have to go through this portal or whatever. No one is maintaining it. It was slapped together as quickly as possible, as cheaply as possible. I mean, at the end of the day, they don't want people receiving these benefits, so they're going to make it as burdensome as possible. It's very nice of this KCCI interviewer, though, to say, oh, these people might accidentally not receive their benefits. No, it's not. I don't think it's an accident. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, that's what Kelly's team does. We're not perfect, so there's going to, I'm sure, be some issues, or there'll be some people. This is I think it's over 1,000 people. I don't know. I'll get you the numbers so that you have those. But it's the expanded care, so it's a narrow population in the state of Iowa that really this applies to. So we have to remember that it's not the entire state, and so they have a lot of outreach with them right now. They're connected to HHS. They're getting benefits. They have requirements to sign up for that, and so they're
okay. So what is the stated purpose of this? It is to make sure that people who receive these benefits are working. So the idea is that there's like some sort of productivity, making sure that we're like, these people are contributing to the productivity of society or whatever. Obviously, I think that's a fucking farce, but that's how they sell this idea, right? Mm-hmm. So the overall, the economy is there's a benefit in exchange for these people receiving a government benefit. They're putting into the overall, economic prosperity of Iowa. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now she's saying though that there's a bunch of outreach to these people. Like you have to pay government employees to work with these people to help them, make sure that they can get through the process of like applying for the exemptions or whatever the hell. That costs money. This probably costs more than any sort of like potential benefit from imposing these restrictions, right?
Maybe. I don't know. But I mean, yeah,
at best, it's probably a wash. I just, like, the intention is not for like the betterment of society in general. It's just that they want to make it harder to get these benefits. And at the end of the day, they don't want these benefits to actually exist. Like, yeah. Why should you, who contributes nothing to my vision of the Iowa economy, why should you be receiving these benefits when you don't give me anything?
Yeah. Got to pay up, bootstraps up.
This is all such bullshit.
It's awful.
There'll be ample ways that we'll be able to connect and work with them. And again, it's not starting tomorrow. And Kelly will be doing, Director Garcia with the Department of Health and Human Services will be making sure that she gets that information out.
Doing the outreach kind of part.
An outreach program, yeah.
And some more information on how those work.
We just cut to the KCCI studio here, but
yeah. It's like, oh, it's not taking effect right away, so it's totally fine. We'll figure it all out. I'll get you that information in the future. No big deal.
I think she says the date here.
Requirements would be implemented. The governor's office says the change would start in January 2026, and people on Iowa's Medicaid expansion program would have 6 months to comply. Iowa's Health and Human Services Department would use an app for Iowans to verify that they're working. And if able-bodied adults don't meet the requirements by July 1st, they lose their health care benefits. There will be an ongoing check every 6 months.
This sounds like hell. They're just making it as shitty as possible to receive these benefits. Every 6 months, you will have to prove to us that you are working some meaningless job that probably pays you shit, and that's how you earn it. That's how you earn the right to continue staying alive. Awful. I do think that the next little bit of this interview is also something that's probably worth a quick discussion. The Iowa legislature, they had to stay in session for longer than they were intended to because there was a fight over the pipeline and eminent domain among the House Republicans. And they ended up passing this eminent domain thing with the support of a few Democrats, I think. I don't have all the details in front of me, but basically, like, it's an anti-pipeline clause of their bill. I'll let her talk about it for a few seconds here so we get a little bit of her thoughts on it.
They're way to your desk or they're sitting on your desk. There are some that some people are calling on you to potentially veto. One of those being a bill that would limit the use of eminent domain for pipeline projects. You've got some passionate voices on this issue. On the one side, you have some landowners who say you need to sign this to protect property rights. On the other hand, you have some business owners, you have people in the renewable fuels industry saying, please veto this, this will hurt our state. So walk me through your thought process as you try to make this decision.
Okay. So you got passionate voices on both sides of this. One side who doesn't want a pipeline to run through their land. The other side who they stand to benefit financially from the pipeline. It's pretty cut and dry, like who's on either side and why they would be passionate about it.
Two moneyed interests opposing each other.
Makes a lot of sense. So how does she decide? I don't know. The other day in the Register, actually just yesterday this came out, there was an opinion piece by Mike Jerk.
Nice.
It's Jerke, Mike Jerk, or Mike Jerky. Either way, it's funny.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, either way.
Yeah, Mike Jerk and Jill Eukin. They wrote this opinion piece called "Badly Written Pipeline Bill Would Hurt Iowa. Kim Reynolds Should Veto It." And would you believe Mike Jerky and Jill Eukin are on the Southwest Iowa Renewable Energy Board. One of them is the president, one is a member of the board of directors. The Southwest Iowa Renewable Energy. SIRE. SIRE is the acronym there. So they're part of the ethanol industry, I believe, is what that means. These provisions will obstruct CO2 sequestration projects that are socially acceptable and beneficial to landowners, ethanol producers, farmers, and citizens. Yes, socially acceptable is such an interesting phrase there. And they don't really explain what that means, I guess. Carbon dioxide sequestration projects that are socially acceptable. What's...
I mean, they're like trying to sell these projects as like a way to fight climate change. So I kind of figure that's probably part of what it is. But like, I mean, we've talked about it on the show before that like it's really about making more money for the agricultural industry.
Of course, yeah.
And energy, like fracking. Yeah, like they are shooting CO2 into the ground to shoot more oil out of the ground. Like that's what a lot of like there's not any like restrictions on what they're using it for. Anyway, it's not good.
The bill in discussion here is House File 639. According to Mike Jerk, it does not address the matter effectively. Instead of focusing solely on the eminent domain concern, the enacted language will significantly affect and potentially terminate projects for reasons unrelated to eminent domain. So it's not simply like an anti-pipeline eminent domain bill. It's an anti-pipeline bill. Like they're just like not going to allow this to happen. They do cite a couple specific parts. Section 9, this provision would alter the Iowa Code to permit intervention in any Iowa Utilities Commission proceeding by state lawmakers, other elected officials, or residents with a, quote, minimally plausible interest. And there's no definition for that. Minimally plausible interest. No geographic restrictions. So just anyone basically could claim that they have an interest in this, and it would block pipeline projects. Section 11 adds insurance requirements for a permittee. The surety or insurance policy must fully cover any loss from negligent or intentional discharge from the pipeline.
Yeah. Which is, we've seen that that's been also another, like, that's a pretty fucking scary thing. That will kill life, like, for, like, miles.
Right, and part of the
has
pitch,
a potential to, at least.
Part of the pitch from the entities that want to build these pipelines is that they are safe. They are, in fact, a safer alternative than other means of transporting these, flammable gases and stuff. And yet they object to a legal requirement that they have insurance covering any potential accidents for these pipelines or intentional discharge. And they say insurance coverage for an intentional violation of a permit is not available for purchase, as such a product does not exist.
Yeah. I will say CO2 is not flammable, but it will suffocate you. You will.
Right. Yeah, I guess this particular pipeline, it wouldn't be a flammable gas. But yeah, they do build pipelines for other stuff.
Which do leak from
and
time
explode
to time.
And stuff
and
like that.
Explode and not good.
Yeah. That to me, though, is just like a lack of imagination. Like you're intervening in a potentially new area of the market, which is insurance for intentionally violating pipeline permits. Like, why would you want to stop this industry from expanding into a new area, which is to charge you for insurance for intentionally discharging gas from your pipeline? That's actually anti economic growth, I think.
Yeah.
And then the other thing they object to is Section 15, which would be amended to limit the permit duration to 25 years. It states the commission shall not renew a permit granted to a pipeline that transports liquefied carbon dioxide. This amendment would eliminate access to markets such as sustainable aviation fuel after the 25-year period. 25 years is a long fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, why should your permit go for longer than that? It seems like you want the energy industry to not progress. And by placing limits like this, I don't know, I feel like maybe ethanol is actually not the future.
Maybe not.
Anyway, well, let's see what Kim Reynolds has to say about whether or not she'll sign or veto this bill, which would basically kill the pipeline project.
Yeah, well, a lot of passionate advocates on both sides of the issue. I think we saw that during the floor debate in the Senate. And so, I have 30 days to sign the bill. And like I do with every single bill that they get through both chambers toward the end of the session, the team sits down and we take a look at it. We look at all the legal questions. We look at just the debate and what took place. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm sitting down and meeting with stakeholders on both sides of the issue. And so we've been having a lot of meetings, property owners, legislators, farmers, both for and against. And so that helps us understand better what some of the concerns are to make sure that, there aren't additional answers that we could get for some of the concerns that they may have. So,
okay, Jesus Christ. She's just saying nothing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nothing. Why does this get so much consideration? Like, they passed the bill. It passed a democratic process, but certain people with a lot of money on the line really don't want this to pass, and so it gets this hemming and hawing forever. Like, and I just have to compare it to the first bill that was passed and signed into law in this legislative session, which we all remember was revoking the civil rights protections of trans people. Did that get any of these considerations, or was it just immediately signed? Like, and it's just because it's like this is an industry that the state's economy is captured by.
Yeah,
and so it would make these people very mad if their little project got shut down.
They're dealing with two groups of people who donate to Republicans, probably
right,
at high
yeah.
levels. And my guess is that she does do a line item veto and does veto it because I think the pipeline companies have, like, Summit has more money than the farmers who don't want their land to be eminent domain.
Yeah, it's probably as simple as that. Yeah, it's just so, this is so fake. Like. I feel like a governor vetoing a bill that passed both houses of a legislature should be like a very rare thing, like should be rarely even considered, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's all supposed to be, I feel like the legislature, I don't know, it's just like more, if they're the ones debating the laws, writing the laws, as much as I hate the people that sit in the legislature right now, that is a more democratic institution than the executive branch. And so the veto power should be like a pretty rare thing. And yet it's being considered in this case as if she like seriously considers whether she will veto or not anything that comes across her desk, which she doesn't.
Yeah, no.
This is only a consideration when there's like big moneyed interests on either side, like you're saying.
Yeah.
It's not like a real process or a real consideration of like the actual legal or whatever impact that the law will have. Because obviously, very quickly signing the Civil Rights Revoking Act, that's going to have pretty severe implications for a lot of people. And not implications, I mean, just effects. It's gonna have very serious negative consequences for a lot of people, and she doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, for sure.
Didn't even cross her mind to veto that one.
Have you seen that there is like an Iowa Starting Line article by ZOS, Zachary Oren Smith, about there's like some weird bullying tactics being used. I think it was Senator Mark Lofgren of Muscatine accused State Senator Dan Dawson of Council Bluffs and Senate leadership of using bullying tactics and threats to retaliate against he and other lawmakers who forced a vote on a bill restricting eminent domain for carbon capture pipelines.
Okay, so the bullying is coming from the legislators that did not want to have this in the bill, right?
Yes, yeah, the pro pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They also they didn't get to adjourn right away. They had to stay a little late. That's another big issue. You don't want state senators or representatives having to stay late on a legislative session.
Yeah. I saw that
they don't even get paid for that, I don't think.
Lofgren sent an email to a bunch of people that I read. Let's just end the episode with that. Mark Lofgren's email about how he was being bullied by his classmates. I know you are all busy trying to finish up the last few days of session, but I wanted to take a moment to share with you the disrespect and backlash that some members of the Senate are now being given, all because of standing up for the property rights of Iowans. As some of you may know, I've worked on the LOSAP bill all session. LOSAP. That I'm not sure what that means. And it's not explained. Anyway, from subcommittee at its beginning to running it through the Appropriations Committee, and I have met with stakeholders on this bill on numerous occasions. However, today, when this bill is brought before the Senate, it will be Senator Dickey who serves as the floor manager. That's not my commentary. That's in the letter that State Senator Lofgren wrote. Additionally, bills and issues that I've worked on that many developers across the state care about will not be brought forward for debate, as per Senator Dawson, as he pointed upward to the Senate offices and stated, because of my involvement in standing up against my own party on the pipeline/eminent domain bill. This is, of course, a paraphrase of how he said this, but the meaning was clear, and it demonstrates that he and others in leadership feel that this is okay behavior. So I love the whining here. I love that they're fighting over this.
I think it's great. Yeah. I mean, it's not like any of the things that Mark Lofgren were going to be proposing were going to be good either.
Right. Spend more of your time fighting and stabbing each other in the back, whining in public letters about each other. This is what I want from Republican leadership in the state of Iowa. I want you to just be sabotaging each other's work and then complaining to the public about it. I find this to be a very vengeful way of doing business, and I'm sure the general public would be appalled that our state government is being run using bullying tactics and threats. The dangling carrot has not worked and has only served to disappoint and anger me more. Just bite the carrot, Mark.
What? So you're saying I'm glad that he's standing up. He's standing up for his principles. You know. He's
Stick
like, they're telling me that, like, if I vote for this provision, that, like, they're not going to let me, introduce, like, they're going to shoot down all my bills and ideas, in the future. Like, I think it's cool. Go Mark Lofgren. Great guy, I'm sure.
I know we can't add this to the standing bill this year, but maybe we need to have an ethics course for legislators in the future. I have the utmost respect for most all of you, and I hope we can do better in the future. May God bless you all during your interim break. Lovely. A lovely note to go out on as they all went on summer vacation.
Yeah, I hope if she does do a veto, that, like, him and other people have another tantrum. That would be good. I mean, I hope she doesn't. Revolt. I hope she doesn't veto it, but.
Yeah, it would be better if it became law, but and this is her last term. She has nothing, like, she really can do whatever she wants, right? Unless she's angling for, like, an ethanol, like, consulting gig post politics, in which case she will veto it. I don't know. All right, we should probably wrap things up. I got to go to a Memorial Day lunch with the in-laws, so we got to close things out today. All right. Don't forget, if you want to go see Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes at the Englert in Iowa City, Friday, June 20th, email us or call us. Read a nasty Kevin Smith sex tweet. Tell us your favorite or least favorite movie, and we'll do, like, a random selection, and whoever wins that will receive 2 tickets to the Oral Sects show at the Englert Theater. Get those submissions in by, let's say midnight of the 31st, okay? Or midnight of the 1st, June 1st. Get it done before we record our next episode, okay?
Wait, June 1st is a Sunday. We're not recording on a Monday again, are we?
No. Midnight of the 1st, right? So 12 a.m. June 1st would be the first part of June 1st.
Okay, I got you.
Do it sooner than later, people. We're not very good at running this contest, it turns out. All right. And with the money that you save when you get your free tickets to the show, you should send that to the Iowa Trans Mutual Aid Fund, iowatransmutualaidfund.org. We mentioned it again that they're losing their civil rights and probably being kicked off Medicaid, a lot of them. So they're going to need your money if you have money to spare. All right. Other plugs. I will plug the KRUI Soil compilation again, which you can find at krui897.bandcamp.com. That has a track from me and a whole bunch of other local artists. It's a good collection of tunes. There's 30 tracks on it. You can get it for $10 on Bandcamp. I think they're making cassettes too, but I haven't seen any yet. Also, I'm playing a show June 17th at Trumpet Blossom. It's going to be fun. Larry Wish is coming down from Minneapolis. I'll be playing. Samuel Locke Ward will be playing. It'll be a fun show. June 17th at Trumpet Blossom. I'm also going to try to interview Sam Locke Ward for my music show sometime soon. We haven't really worked that out yet, but hopefully that'll come soon. And now that I mentioned it on mic, I'll have to try harder to make it happen.
Now you must.
Yeah. All right. If you like the show, if you'd like to hear more of it that's behind a paywall, check out patreon.com/rockhardcaucus. The paywall is only $1 per month, so nothing crazy. And we've got a whole bunch of episodes on there, like 160 something. So lots more stuff for you to listen to. Evan, you want to do a Rock Hard Call Us soon? We haven't done one of those in a bit.
Yeah, okay. For sure.
All right, maybe we'll get one of those done this week.
Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe.
We're too busy. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not too busy, but
too we'll lazy. Have to. That's what we are.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, we're going to close out with some local music. The Iowa City band Shining Realm released a new album recently. You can find it at theshiningrealm.bandcamp.com. And I'm going to play their tune Time Machine Blues because, as you all know, I'm very fascinated with the idea that we need to accomplish time travel to really fix the problems that face humanity. And so I myself have the Time Machine Blues. So here's Time Machine Blues by Shining Realm. If you are interested in having your music played on Rock Hard Caucus, go to rockhardcock.us, our website, and click on Submit Music at the top of the page, and you could be in a future episode. All right. How do you feel about that, Evan? Good episode?
It was all right.
It was fine.
It was pretty good. It was another one.
Yeah.
We'll have to do something better for 200.
We'll try to do something better and truer for the next episode.
Better and truer, yeah, for sure.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.